Yo, welcome back guys to another video, but this one is not a tutorial but a tour to my Navy base. And of course you're gonna see a lot of uh, ships of the Philippine Navy, of course. And let's start it.
Okay, so as I said, this is gonna be a tour of the Navy base, and first of all, let's start here. This is pretty much a building that, if you would imagine, of course, they will be where the officers will be. So we're gonna be their office will be. Yeah, that's not that much it. I did not put some interior or some furnitures inside yet. It's empty. There you can see the rooftop here, just like that. So actually, let's start with some ships or vessels. So okay, so here you have a ship. Of course it's a ship. This one specifically is BRP Ramon Alcaraz. It is PS-16. It is a Gregorio del Pilar class patrol ship. For now it is a patrol ship, but if it get upgraded, it would be reclassified as a frigate. And of course, for those who are Americans out there, you might say this is kind of similar because this is actually the Hamilton class cutters of the US Coast Guard. Yeah, we just get a few of them and use it in our Navy. Yeah, and of course this on this current state of the real BRP Ramon Alcaraz, of course it doesn't have a series here. This is just how I would imagine it would look like in the future when it got upgraded. So yeah, of course you have your Automilara auto gun in there. It's gonna be the primary weaponry, and of course, as I said, it's a series phalanx. This will be the air defense, or you don't know, they might pick a different system for the air defense. You don't know. And yeah, as I said, it's just my imagination on how it would look like in the future. And here you have a torpedo tubes that would turn sideways, turning that way, and would release a torpedo, of course. You know, torpedo tubes, and you would have some, twin missile launchers here. I don't know which specific system it is, but there is a twin missile launcher on both sides. Again, this will be a air defense system for anti-air. And here on the back, we would have a secondary gun, which I don't know of, but there is a secondary gun. And here on the sides, we would have some anti-ship missiles on the sides, on the back. These are gonna be the tubes that contains the anti-ship missiles. So yeah, that's it actually. BRP Ramon Alcaraz. But as I said, it's not how it looks in currently. So let's actually move on now, next to this small vessel here, which is kind of not normal. And of course, this is not in service in the Philippine Navy. This is pretty much the Swath Ghost. That's the name of it. This is a Swath, if I remember. Short hull, I mean, Swath, but anyways. I think I would just link more information about this thing in the description, but this is a weird vessel, I'll tell you that. This would assume a role of a fast attack craft if the US Navy would ever put it in service, but as I said, it's just a experimental one. Or did I say that? I don't know. But yeah, you can see it right there, you get some missile launchers in there. Yeah, it's just weird to my opinion that I just got interested in it and I just built it. So yeah, actually just moving on. Here we have two unmanned surface vehicles. It's just pretty much a remote controlled boat that can be deployed from a ship, of course. And yeah, you got a version where it have a machine gun right there. Of course, that would be perfect for, you know, dealing with pirates, and with some radars and sensors in here, and an antenna, of course, because it's remote controlled. And here another one is another version where it have missiles. Kinda doesn't look like a missile, but as Minecraft is very limited. So anyways, moving on. This big one here, very weird one, is the Zombot class destroyer. Of course, the Uss Zombot Ddg 1000 is the first one ever built from the Zombot class, and The reason why it have this weird shape is that it's primarily for stealth. It just prioritize stealth. That's why it end up with this crazy design, I would go. This design is called the tumble hole. Yeah, I think tumble hole design. And you got the main guns here. It might not look like a gun, but if it would deployed, panel would be opening up and the barrel will rise up. And yeah, you got the main gun right there. It's just concealed on this way, so it would maintain its stealth. And we have some few vertical launch cells here. This would where the missiles will be stored. And yeah, look at that, very ridiculous. And of course you got some sensors here on the top and we have two secondary guns here in the back. Of course it's the same as those things on the front. It is concealed. It would open up and bring out the barrel. And we have more vertical launch cell here for more missiles. And we have a Seahawk helicopter here, which is the primary helicopter that is used by the US Navy. And actually, let's move on right away. Okay, so here we just got some regular medium-sized harbor tugboats. These tugboats are, of course, to be in charge of pulling the ships off the harbor. So yeah, that's really their purpose right there. And here we have another vessel used by the US Navy. This is the USS Freedom and LCS-1 Freedom class. LCS is a littoral combat ship. It's pretty much, let's say, an equivalent to offshore patrol ships. And yeah, you have the main gun in the front, more radars, and you have this weird thing here. That's where the it's where the controls will be, you know. And as I said, more radars, more sensors. And here we would have some more vertical launch cell in there for missiles, of course. That's where be like the exhaust would go out. I don't know about this, but there's just some random details I'm not sure about. And actually, when I watch a video about the LCS Freedom, is that in the future, if there will be a future for the LCS Freedom class, they would said to install a laser here. So yeah, I just shoved two armor stand right there and put it like that. And we got a C-ram here, which is basically just like the Seawiz Phalanx, but instead of a machine gun, it would have, or machine gun? Yeah, let's just call it machine gun. Instead of machine gun, it would have small missiles. Yeah. And here again, you will see another Seahawk right there. And this one is interesting because this one is not propelled like a regular ship. It would be propelled instead with some water jets. That's why you see that. You compare it to these things. Oh, it's actually water jet too. But if you compare it to other vessels, which we're gonna move on, this one is actually just like that. There's some big propellers on there. So actually moving on here, this is pretty much the let's look at this. This is the St. George Cape class patrol boat. I think it's in service on the Australian Navy, I think, or the Australian Coast Guard. But anyways, I don't know, but the reason why I built this in the first place is because the company Ostal, that is a shipbuilder, this is pretty much the design that they what is that? This is the design that they have put out for the, yeah, let's just call it put out on the offshore patrol vessel acquisition project of the of the Philippine Navy. And for a long time, I have thought that this will be the one that will be entering service in the Philippine Navy, but turns out they cancelled it because the price just rose too high. So yeah, I got some, rigid hull inflatable boat, and more missile launchers, and a secondary gun right there. And we have a remote controlled helicopter right there. Of course, you would not be able to actually afford a remote control helicopter. Of course, that's gonna be expensive or something. And you have another rigid inflatable hull boat here. I know it's crappy, but I don't care. Anyways, yeah, but actually now, as I have heard, that it's pretty much again the Hyundai Heavy Industries that will actually build the offshore patrol vessel of the for the Philippine Navy. So yeah, that's just a that's just not really a thing anymore. So anyways, moving on here, we have of course the very infamous BRP Jose Rizal FF-150 Jose Rizal class. This is of course the very first modern frigate that the Philippine Navy is been currently operating. Yeah, this one is of course built by the Hyundai Heavy Industries, and here in the front you can see some vertical launch cell for small missiles, and of course we have a auto Milara again. I don't know what caliber it is, a rapid gun, and yeah, that's gonna be the main armament of it. We got some balcony on the side. I don't know if you would call it a balcony at all. Some radars and sensors. Here we have some rigid hull inflatable boat. I don't know if you could call it a rigid hull inflatable boat. But yeah, it's just not that much space that I would build a full, like a literal one. Anyways, here on the sides, facing on the sides, you have another missile. I mean torpedo tubes. No, torpedo tubes, triple tubes. Yeah, and here we have some more anti-ship missile tubes that of course have the anti-ship missile on it. And here we have another series, but also actually this is like also the upgraded version of the Jose Rizal class frigates. This is not how it currently looks like. It's just again my imagination on how it would look like in the future. So yeah, you have the series, twin missile launchers again, and the secondary gun right there. And you have a helicopter right there. I think this is the AW Wildcat. Yeah. So moving on, we're gonna take care of that sooner or later. We're gonna take care of these small things here first. Okay, so here it is. This is the Shaldag Mark 5. At least this is what I tried. I think I will update this soon, and actually I will sooner or later do a tutorial of this one, Shaldag Mark 5, if I updated it, and because to me it's not the best for me, so yeah, I would update that sooner or later and make a tutorial of it sooner or later. And here we just have a regular rigid hull inflatable boat that have guns on it in the front and the back. Yeah, of course that's not used by the Philippine Navy, but this one, the Shaldag Mark 5, is used by the Philippine Navy. And this one I just built a generic missile boat. Yeah, I would have another primary gun right there, some machine guns on the side, and lots of anti-ship missile here in the back. Yeah, it's not that really relevant. So moving on to the relevant ones, this one is a amphibious assault ship, and of course this is the BRP Tarlac Lvt H6, the Tarlac class, or I don't know if it's really the Tarlac class, but again this one is not how it currently looks like. The real one doesn't have a main gun on the front. It still doesn't have one, but as I said, this is how I imagine it would look like in the future. Of course, you would have another Auto Milara rapid gun right there in the front, and you would have some, missile launchers, twin missile launchers, and more series phalanx, and another secondary gun. But anyways, yeah, you have the helicopter pod here. It would be capable of carrying 2 helicopters. And of course here in the back you would have a large door for the amphibious amphibious assault vehicles, AAVs, to come out, specifically the KAAV 7A1. Yeah, and it would go out and go to the beach and fight the enemy. And here of course the Philippine Navy doesn't operate a aircraft carrier, but to be honest, this is just how I would imagine in the future if the Philippine Navy were ever to have a light aircraft carrier. And of course, you might say it boasts a resemblance to the Wasp class of the US Navy. The Wasp class is a amphibious assault vessel also. But yeah, it have a deck in here. Have some F-35s, some more helicopter. The F-35B specifically, the one with the VTOL capability. And yeah, more helicopters. and an elevator here on the side. So you would get those aircrafts on the hull. And on the sides we got some few serums and some seaweeds on the sides and the other side. And you have where the officers would be. This is where they control the ship. This is where the air control tower is. This is where the guys that would take care of the aircrafts. Yeah, more radars and sensors too. So moving on here, this is this one, the one you see in the front, is a Pohan class Corvette. I'm gonna be honest, it's kinda not the most accurate, but I will also update this one, but I will not yet make a tutorial of it because this one is kinda too large. But anyways, this Corvette is mostly composed of, rapid. So yeah, and also this is how I would imagine it would look like if it's, let's say, upgraded anytime soon. So yeah, moving on here, we have a utility landing crafts. These things are pretty much in charge of, getting the troops or some ground vehicles on the beach. We'll have the vehicles parked here, and when they reach the beach, this ramp would drop down and get the vehicle out. Yeah, just like that. It's just generic one. I think I based this one on a utility landing craft used by the, oh yeah, I based this one on the utility landing craft of the Philippine Navy, of course, but the one that is formerly used by the South Korean Navy. But yeah, it kind of looked too plain. I'm gonna upgrade that soon, and of course soon I would also have a tutorial on this one. And this one is just kind of like a concept. This is not actually built yet. But yeah, this is another utility landing craft, but this one have a catamaran hull. That means it's split up like that, and the catamaran hull would just be able you to be faster. Yeah, this is pretty much the Textron Seacat. Yeah, Textron is a defense company. Yeah, really, you just have some more main gun in there, another secondary gun in the back. And actually, I think in the pictures or renderings of it, I think this is supposed to be wider because there's a helicopter landing pad here in the back. Yeah, it's really weird. Anyways, moving on here, we have of course, the Lvt H6 with the ridiculous camo pattern. If you didn't see my tutorial on this one yet, I would have a link of that in the description. And we have the KAAV6 here. Yeah, this is pretty much a Asian ripoff of the AAV7. I mean KAAV7. Yeah, KAAV7A1. And of course, yeah, this is the amphibious vehicle of the Philippine Marines. In here we have a unfamiliar one. This is pretty much the US Marines New Avcv. ACV means amphibious combat vehicle. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you look it up, pretty much look like the Striker, but they waterproofed it and they put a propeller on the back. Yeah. And here, of course, you have the Cadillac gauge amphibious fire support vehicle, Lvt 300. And of course, I also made a tutorial on this one, and I'll also link it on the description. And here finally we have an LCAC, which is a landing craft air cushioned. This is pretty much on its name, it's air cushioned. There would be like a huge sturdy airbag here in the front. For this one, it is deflated. Yeah, and it would have also some land vehicles in here. So you would go to the beach and the land vehicles would take off just like that. And we also have the big propeller here in the back to, of course, accelerate the LCAC. So yeah, I think that is all in my Navy base. Yeah, that I have in my Navy base. So yeah, that's it. And I don't know, I think I should provide some, photos of those vessels and vehicles that I've mentioned. So yeah, goodbye.